everybody, and a warm welcome to you from the Estadio Olímpico Universitario. It is the all-important second leg in the Concacaf Champions Cup, round of 16 here in Mexico City, as Cruz Azul plays host to the Seattle Sounders. 81 degrees here in the Mexican capital tonight, postcard-type weather at the moment, picture-perfect scenes here in the build-up to a massively important night for two huge clubs in the Concacaf Champions Cup. Sean St. Jacques, our entire crew, thrilled to be a part of it with you tonight. Of course, Cruz Azul's history in the Champions Cup is well documented. Half a dozen triumphs in the Champions Cup's history for a giant club of the Mexican game. However, none since 2013, 2014. They want to make another deep run into the competition this time around. Taking on a Seattle Sounders team that tasted Champions Cup glory for the very first time just 3 seasons ago in 2022. And they have fond memories of the Estadio Olímpico Universitario. They came here and played Pumas in the final first leg back in 2022. Many remember the story. They were 2-0 down with about 10 minutes to go. Nicolas Ladero scored a late brace, including a stoppage time equalizer that got the Sounders a 2-2 draw on the night. They went on to win the final and clinching the second leg with a 3-0 win back in Seattle. Brian Schmetzer said a few moments ago on his walk into the park tonight that his team will be without the likes of one of the heroes really from the first leg, despite being a 0-0 draw. No Pedro de la Vega tonight. He's been wonderful so far through round 1 and the first leg of this round of 16 for the Sounders, but plenty of the big names are back in the starting lineup for the Sounders tonight, hoping to recreate some of that magic from the first leg of the final here 3 seasons ago. These two teams have met a couple of times before, obviously the first leg, and back in the mid to late 90s in the Champions Cup as well, when the Sounders really weren't even an MLS club yet. They were about to transition into being the Sounders in the MLS at that particular time. Cruz Azul were heavy winners on that particular day. But it tends to be a situation where you throw out the record books on a night like this. It is 0-0 on aggregate. The first leg finished 0-0. Sounders hit the post a couple of times, had a few really good opportunities. Christian Roldan said after the game they felt like they left a little bit on the table. And Cruz Azul know, coming back home, 0-0, it's all there to play for. But the Sounders know that one goal in their favor, with the away goals rule being on their side tonight potentially, could really shift the tie into their favor as well. It's the way we like it, particularly from a neutral's point of view, right on the edge, heading into this all-important Champions Cup round of 16 second leg. Any goal, all goals tonight could make a gigantic impact on which of these teams will advance into a pivotal Champions Cup quarterfinal, or potentially see their runs come to an end at the first knockout stage hurdle proper here at the historic Estadio Olímpico Universitario, a place that has seen Olympics being played. Of course, it was also part of the 1986 FIFA World Cup as well. Maradona's Argentina played here. Platini's France played here as well. It has seen many big players. It's seen many big nights as well. And this night will be added to that list. There's no questions about that. We'll have the processions in just a moment, followed by the lineups and the all-important kickoff in this round of 16 second leg in the Concacaf Champions Cup. It's Cruz Azul 0, it's the Seattle Sounders 0 on aggregate. It's all going to be decided when the 90 minutes kicks off in just a moment.
Demos la bienvenida al Club de Fútbol Cruz Azul y al Seattle Sounders para el partido de esta noche de la Copa de Campeones Concacaf.
Well, the two sets of teams exchange pleasantries here in Mexico City, moments away from kickoff. Concacaf Champions Cup, round of 16, second leg. Cruz Azul against the Seattle Sounders. Again, Sean St. Jacques, our entire crew, pleasure to be with you tonight. 0-0 on aggregate. It is very much in the balance with a place in the Champions Cup quarterfinals going to the winner at the end of the night. Well, Vicente Sanchez was up until not too long ago the interim coach for Cruz Azul. He, of course, is now the main man in charge. He's got a pretty strong starting 11, no questions about that here tonight. Four at the back by Gonzalo Piovi. In that midfield, Carlos Rodriguez, Eric Lira, and Ignacio Rivero, the captain, all very key tonight. But of course, two big names up top. Former LAFC man Mateusz Bogusz leads the line, and Angel Sepulveda, who's always a danger man in the attacking third, is alongside him. O'Shea Nation of Jamaica is our head official tonight. He's a Jamaican and Trinidad and Tobago represented officiating crew on the field tonight. And of course, there is VAR, led by Jesus Montero of Costa Rica, and Benjamin Pineda assisting as well. Now, the Sounders have very fond memories of Mexico City at the Estadio Olímpico Universitario. Just 3 years ago, they did an incredible comeback in the dying stages of the game, I should say, against Pumas. Many changes, of course, from that game. Not many from the first leg, but the most notable one, of course, No de la Vega, with the likes of Jordan Morris, who just became the Sounders' all-time leading goal scorer in all competitions, leads the line, alongside Jesus Ferreira and Albert Rusnak as well. The Roldan brothers are in the midfield alongside Obed Vargas, and Stefan Fry captains the side in goal. Should mention as well, Paul Arriola, I should say, coming over from FC Dallas into the Sounders fold. He's had a wonderful start to life with Seattle. Has scored in the league, has scored a few times in the Champions Cup as well in the first round, in particular against Antigua Guatemala. Had a brief look there at Brian Schmetzer. He's Seattle through and through in his soccer career. Of course, has already tasted the victory in this competition. Would love us, of course, to send the Sounders on another run this time around. And for Vicente Sanchez and Cruz Azul, it's been over a decade since they lifted the Champions Cup trophy. They want to get into the latter stages yet again. Tonight is a giant, giant step in doing so. It is a good pro Cruz Azul crowd, but you may have seen the Seattle Sounders players applauding off in the distance. There's a decent amount of Emerald City supporters here tonight. No questions about that. The Sounders are in green. They'll be kicking us off from right to left. Cruz Azul are in blue from head to toe, and off we go here in Mexico City. It is 0-0 on aggregate, and the winner moves on to a Champions Cup quarterfinal. Seattle potentially could use the away goals rule to their benefit in a big way tonight if they manage to score. The only way that we would go on to extra time and potentially penalties is if the score stays as it is right now. Only a second 0-0 would send us to an extra session and possibly more than that. Any goals scored, and this one will be finished in the 90 minutes, and we'll see a big club advance. We'll also see a really big name club go out in the round of 16. Talked a little bit about the Sounders' road to get here. Obviously the 0-0 draw in the first leg, but they beat Antigua Guatemala 6-2 on aggregate to get into the round of 16. Paul Arriola scoring in both legs. De La Vega had 3 goals over the 2 legs as well. Brian Schmetzer said on his walk-in to the stadium tonight, huge loss for the Sounders, but they're deep, and they're expecting the depth amongst the squad to help them out tonight. And here comes Seattle's first foray forward. Across into the middle, danger is here. Paul Arriola lets it fly, blocked inside the 18-yard box. And the Sounders reset with Nuhu Tolo on the near side. He's tripped up. It's a Seattle free kick. So another look. He tried to gesture to Arriola and just got nudged and pushed in the back by Eric Lira, who's going to be key tonight as well for Cruz Azul. It gives the Sounders a pretty good position for a set-piece chance. Well, Vicente Sanchez has certainly had a wonderful career as a player. Played for Colorado Rapids, Houston Dynamo, Schalke in Germany as well. And that's headed down and headed just wide. Actually was beautiful service into the penalty area, and the header wasn't far away at all from Jackson Reagan, of all people. Forces Kevin Mier to make a diving attempt at it. One that sees it bounce wide of Cruz Azul's goal. Now, the other big thing that Brian Schmetzer, Seattle coach, stressed in his pre-match thoughts tonight, that Seattle has to be aggressive. They can't sit back and expect themselves to get the result needed to go through. They're going to have to get after Cruz Azul tonight. He said, hopefully, score a goal or two. That'd be nice. And that's a lovely early ball in behind here. Again, the goalkeeper, Kevin Mier, is there to clean it up. Lira. Near side, Willard Dita. And a little bit of space to run into. Seattle closes it down. And Cruz Azul had to take on Haitian side Real Hope, as Fry is there for Seattle in their round 1 tie. And Cruz Azul didn't have too much trouble. 2-0 winners in the first leg that was played in the Dominican Republic. Sepulveda was on the score sheet, and an own goal help the Mexicans' cause. And then here in Mexico City in the second leg, Cruz Azul put up 5 goals, 3 of them in the first half. Sepulveda had a brace, and they won 7-0 on aggregate. Look at there at Brian Schmetzer, the Seattle Sounders coach. What a career he's had at multiple levels, but of course he's well known for all of the Sounders' success he's been a part of. Of course, Brian Schmetzer is not just as a head coach, but as an assistant coach as well. A ton of trophies, ton of medals in his time as a Sounders coach. In general, as Ferreira nearly was able to pick out a teammate running right through the middle, and it was Jordan Morris. Sounders fans want him on the ball. I think he's pleading his case for a possible corner here. Tough to tell who it was last off of. Another good look there, who may have been off the trailing leg of the Cruz Azul defender. Seattle, it appears, does not get the decision. Just a quick rattling off of Brian Schmetzer's accolades. This is assistant coach and as the head coach. 4-time US Open Cup winner, Concacaf Champions Cup winner as a head coach 2022, 2-time MLS Cup winner, 4 Western Conference championships, and they were League's Cup runners-up back in 2021 as well. Of course, Seattle representing MLS at the FIFA Club World Cup after winning the Champions Cup as well. It was a gigantic moment for the league and, of course, for the Sounders organization after beating Pumas 5-2 over 2 legs. And the player down for Cruz Azul is Willardita. We mentioned him earlier. Well, Vicente Sanchez may have to ponder that one over. Again, goal kick was the decision. It goes Cruz Azul's way. A chance to run this forward. Bogusz, formerly of LAFC. In the end, nowhere to work. I saw Jordan Morris a moment ago, of course, a man who's made multiple appearances with the U.S. men's national team, and again, just scored his 87th career goal for the Sounders on Saturday. Again, it's a guy who's playing for his boyhood club. He's now the club's all-time leading scorer in all competitions. I'd love to celebrate that by getting another one here tonight. We'll have to wait and see on that. Meanwhile, Cruz Azul on the attack. A shot from Bogusz headed down. And then Sanchez tried to continue the run, but a possible head injury halts the play. Well, it's the same man who nearly scored for Seattle up the other end, Jackson Reagan, who blocked the shot by Bogusz. I think it may have taken a ricochet on the way through. I don't know if it was touched by Nuhu. It is a bit of a break for Seattle, not the injury, of course, but the stoppage, because Cruz Azul were getting ready, and I think that's what the conversation is with the referee here. They wanted to keep on playing, but the referees have to stop it for possible head injuries. That's just how it has to be. Dita, meanwhile, looks he's getting set to come back on as Schmetzer and Roldan, Christian Roldan, that is, talk it over. Whoever advances from this round of 16 tie would get either Club America or Chivas Guadalajara in the quarterfinals. And again, there is one other game that is kicked off alongside our game. That is Columbus Crew against LAFC. LAFC actually won the first leg 3-0. However, Columbus have scored an early goal and have a 1-0 lead on the night. They've quickly cut that back to 3-1 on aggregate. So we'll be monitoring that along with our match here as the night moves along. And then, of course, a couple hours from now, Tigres against FC Cincinnati in the second leg. Tigres and Cincy also tied 1-1 on aggregate. Tigres, of course, has that away goal advantage at the moment. Fry puts it back into play, and Cruz Azul control as the play is restarted. Dida back out there with 10 minutes gone in this second leg. 0-0 on aggregate. Sounders bring the pressure here through Jordan Morris. Ferreira, former FC Dallas star, also helping out. Did the ball go out of play on that far side? There were a couple appeals. Mark Gomez clears it away for Seattle. Vicente Sanchez, the coach on Cruz Azul. We talked about his playing career, and for 2024 and parts of this year as well, was the Cruz Azul under-23s coach, then brought up to be the interim coach, and has stayed there for now at least. Cruz Azul 5th in the current Liga MX table. They've won, of course, 9 Liga MX titles. They were runners-up in the 2024 Clausura. Came oh so close. And have some work to do, of course, if they're going to win it this time around. Start of the 2025 season. Here's Jorge Sanchez to the byline. His cross is blocked. It's not cleared, however. And it's a, oh my goodness, a scissor kick from inside the penalty area, one that comes up short. What a goal that would have been if it was struck cleanly. Dida had the right idea, but again, the Sounders have it covered, and they do clear it. Eric Lira and company will reshuffle the cards. With the 0-0 draw in the first leg, Seattle Sounders, I should say, now 13 matches unbeaten in Concacaf Champions Cup play. However, they are winless in their last 7 against Liga MX opposition in this tournament, including that 0-0 draw, of course. So if they are going to go through tonight, that is something they're going to have to overcome. Seattle has actually never closed out a Liga MX side in the second leg when they've been on the road either. That's another thing that would be a first if the Sounders were to progress. Ball came off the referee. Drop ball. Cruz Azul get possession. Dida played square. Lira. Sepulveda and Bogusz had not too many nibbles so far for Cruz Azul. Sounders want to keep it that way, and it was closed down nicely by Reagan. Throw into the hosts. Good step by Morris. And Christian Roldan and company Paul Arriola as well, trying to find their way to clear it. Eventually it is sent upfield. Well, after a pretty positive start from the Sounders, they've been pushed back ever so slightly. This is not exactly the way Brian Schmetzer wants it. And hello, Vicente Sanchez, lovely touch there. Bogusz quickly closed down on by Gomez, out for a throw. Good step by Roldan defensively, and Christian Roldan tries to clip it upfield. But again, the Sounders are dispossessed. Cruz Azul trying their best here to pin Seattle back. Another ball clipped over the top, and again it's not cleared. Bogusz out wide. And he's clipped in centrally. Reagan's header. Helped along by Alex Roldan. Roldan called upon again to block a potential cross into the middle. And then it is blasted out for another throw-in. Near side, Lira. Jorge Sanchez forced back. He'll go all the way back to the goalkeeper. Tries to put it on a plate for Sanchez on this near side. Arriola and company cleared it initially, but it's given away by Christian Roldan. Cruz Azul have some numbers here, but it's a really good recovery by his brother Alex. One Roldan brother helps out the other, and Seattle are back on it. Time and space for Arriola up ahead. It comes back to him kindly here. But his ball across the middle, he's cut out. We talked about Cruz Azul's recent league action. Look at the start to Seattle in the league season. Had the 2-2 draw against Charlotte on opening night. That was sandwiched in by the two Antigua Guatemala legs. Round one, then lost at Real Salt Lake on March 1st. That was 10 days ago. But after the 0-0 draw against Cruz Azul, they really bounced back 3 days ago. Beat LAFC 5-2 in MLS play. Getting goals from Kalani Kosarienzi, who's on the subs list tonight for Seattle. Paul Rothrock as well, that historic Jordan Morris goal. And Christian Roldan on the score sheet. Albert Rusnak scoring in stoppage time to see off LAFC. It's kind of the boost that Brian Schmetzer's side needed in the league. Get that first win out of the way, especially against a top team. How can they take that momentum into tonight's action? That's Obed Vargas fighting his way forward for Seattle. The Sounders, it appears, will keep possession. They do with Ferreira on the far side. Took that free kick quickly. Alex Roldan forced to retreat for the moment. Nuhutolo. Arriola. And Arriola's dispossessed. He thought he was fouled by Sanchez. Nothing given. Mateusz Bogusz. Sanchez. Good ball across by Sanchez, and the header is just wide. That was the first real chance for Angel Sepulveda. And Fry was interested. It was wide of the target. That's what Sanchez can do. It's a lovely ball in. It's a really good header as well, just off the frame. Getting over the top of Alex Roldan inside the Seattle penalty area. One of the better chances Cruz Azul have had in these opening 19 minutes. Cruz Azul drew against Monterrey last time out in the league, a 1-1 draw at home. Actually drawn their last 3, Cruz Azul, in all competitions. 2 in the league, 1 against Seattle in the Champions Cup. Last time Cruz Azul won, it was in the league back on February 23rd. Is Bogusz, and 2 men around him. The Sounders will clear. Querétaro were the victims that night. Sepulveda scoring the winner. Sanchez again. Was closed down. Dida. All the way back for Lira, who resurveys the scene for Cruz Azul. Of course, we also saw Pumas play here. First leg of their tie with Costa Rican giants Alajuelense. They were 2-0 winners in the first leg. They'll finish their tie off tomorrow night in Costa Rica. Ferreira trying to get it to a spinning Morris, who couldn't shield it away. Since the opening 5 minutes, the Sounders have really not been able to have a sustained bit of possession. That's going to worry Brian Schmetzer and his staff a bit. But they defended well, and they get the ball back after a good challenge by Gomez. Sanchez. Another Cruz Azul takeaway here. Rivero, the captain, laying it off for Rodriguez. Sanchez stays onside. Lovely give and go. Rivero. Rodriguez. Bogusz. Bogusz again. Bogusz clipping it into the center of the penalty area. Knew who there defensively. And Sanchez. On the turn. Oh, it was a really good strike from Rivero. Initially, when you saw him swing his boot, it's almost as if there was no room for the shot, but he found a way and nearly hit the target. 3 Seattle Sounders defenders around him, and it actually may have clipped the side of the upright. Fry had it covered, but it wasn't far away. Great effort by Ignacio Rivero, almost making something very big out of very little. Fry forward, it was too tall for Arriola. A couple of close calls, maybe not definitive chances, but definitely some half chances for Cruz Azul in these early minutes. And halfway through the first half of this second leg. 0-0 on aggregate. And if it does stay like this, long way to go, we would go to extra time and penalties, but any goals scored would make that a moot point, no matter who scores the goal, frankly. It's because, of course, of the away goals rule, which is in effect. Bogusz out wide. Alex Roldan, brilliant defending, able to hold off Carlos Rotondi. Caravelli. Lira for Dida. Cruz Azul probing here. Bogusz didn't have a lot to work with. Finds Dida. Was poked through. Sepulveda's header. A couple of headers away. Arriola moving that along, and Vargas helping out. Alex Roldan looking to send an early ball in behind here, but it's well covered. Cruz Azul will reset. Rusnak Morris, Ferreira, they're all going to play a part in trying to hold up some of that play. Trying to alleviate the pressure on the back line as this game moves along. Rodriguez sliding it through. Referee, I believe, has waved advantage on here. Looked like he was thinking about giving a free kick. Whistle never went. Ferreira. Rusnak and company. Oh, and Roldan with a miscue. It's a giveaway. And then the shot is blocked. Roldan recovers in time to stop Rivero's attempt. Reagan has time and space for the Sounders here. Morris straight offside. Reagan did well to read that. Vargas helps it along. Unfortunate on the deflection. Here's Jesus Ferreira. Ferreira switching the point of the attack here. And it might have been handled, I think it was, by Jordan Morris as he tried to track it down and control it. Despite not having the numbers, Seattle's attack was going somewhere there. What fizzles out? Oh, and by the looks of that, it might have been a harsh decision. Looked like it may have come off more of the chest than anything else, but Seattle does not get the call. And was Bogusz found there? It didn't look like there was a lot of contact. Cruz Azul have it with Rodriguez. And Dida. Oh, out to the far side, a bit of a missed kick there. Rotundi has to help out. Piovi forced to go to Dida. In the air, sends it forward. Good one header by Sanchez. And then the volley by Sepulveda. Ends up not mattering as the flag is up. Another look, it was pretty tight. Actually, there were Sounders players coming back. Oh, it was very tight, actually. Sepulveda did take the shot on early, so it's a bit of a moot point, but Yaimar Gomez, beg your pardon, nearly played Sepulveda on as he tried to backtrack. If he had checked his run, it would have been really clear cut, but he didn't. In the end, it's really just window dressing. And when the referee's given Stefan Fry a time-wasting warning here. Well, the Sounders do want to slow Cruz Azul down. Referees really all over world football been told to try and crack down more and more on that when possible. And Sepulveda, 34 years of age, scored over 20 goals now for Cruz Azul in 62 appearances. He's played for Tijuana and Guadalajara in his time. He's kind of bounced around at times in his Liga MX career. Has scored a couple of times as well for the Mexican national team in his career. Partnered up there with Bogusz, of course, is still getting his feet wet in a lot of ways with Cruz Azul. Scored 18 goals in 60 league appearances for LAFC over a 2-season period. Actually, at one particular time was in the Leeds United system, 2019 to 2023, but there was a lot of loan spells involved in that. Only played for Leeds once in his time there in a league game. He is a Polish full international. He's played for them twice. A national team player. This will be the two danger men. Cruz Azul will hope will do the business tonight. Rivero. And Dida and Cruz Azul very patient in their build-up as they try to find the gaps in the Seattle system defensively. Bogusz. POV. Clipped in by Bogusz. Sepulveda! Onto the roof of the net. Well, maybe Cruz Azul's best chance. They are certainly getting closer as we reach the half-an-hour mark. It's the two men we just talked about. Great ball in by Bogusz. And then Sepulveda does well to get a little glancing touch on it. It actually just comes off the very top of the crossbar. Another close call for Cruz Azul. Can Seattle get back on their feet a bit here? Haven't had a ton of the ball. Jordan Morris. Is he onside here? It's not going to matter. And he was offside, actually. They waited. The ball ended up rolling out of play. Kevin Mier was able to shepherd it away. And it's a free kick. Look, Morris does start it rather early there. Looks like he's just leaning in an offside position. Although, again, if it had gone to VAR, it would have been worth a check. As Bogusz quickly up the other end. Chips it over Fry, but misses the target. Well, in the next sentence, Cruz Azul nearly score again. It's just a sensational little backheel flick by Bogusz into his own path. An audacious bit of build-up play, but he could not finish. That would have been a sensational goal from the Polish international. Not quite in the end. Rivero. Lovely ball for Sanchez. Cruz Azul knocking on the door here, but again thwarted inside the Seattle penalty area. Sanchez follows up, and the clearance by Nuhu is well over the top of Jordan Morris. Nothing he could do with it, and Cruz Azul get right back on the bike with the possession. POV. Rivero. Little give and go with Bogusz, and it's a good step. Rusnak helping out Seattle defensively. Vargas also getting a boot on it. Couldn't get it to Ferreira. The continued run here. POV. To the byline. It's a free header. It's in! Cruz Azul draw first blood in this round of 16 tie. It's headed home by Carlos Rodriguez. After knocking on the door time and time again, Cruz Azul bust it down and take a 1-0 lead on the night. Well, Seattle have been warned for the last 20 to 25 minutes. Nobody picks up Rodriguez. It's a free header. And it's a lovely cushioned header off the post and in. Nothing Fry could do about that. And the persistence pays off for Cruz Azul. 1-0 on the night, and more importantly, 1-0 on aggregate. We talked about how important Cruz Azul's finishers were in their round one triumph over Real Hope. Seattle held them in the first leg. After the last 20-25 minutes of play, it felt like it was only a matter of time for Cruz Azul to get that first and pivotal goal in the tie, and they have indeed captured it. The good news for Seattle is it really doesn't change a whole lot, because if they can score an away goal, they would still go through. But the bad news is they have none of the momentum at the moment. It's all with Cruz Azul. And officially takes extra time and penalties off the table as well. Bogusz. Up the other end for Cruz Azul. He waits for support. There's more blue shirts flooding forward. Bogusz tries to slide it through. Sepulveda holds up the play. Dida. Rotondi. Danger here for Seattle, but Fry steps in. Rosnak finds Christian Roldan. And Jesus Ferreira is free on the far side. Morris trying to time his run. Ferreira's cross was deflected and cleared away by Faravelli. And Carlos Rodriguez, formerly of Monterrey, earlier in his career. He's also played a bunch of games, international level for Mexico. Hasn't scored a ton of goals for Cruz Azul. It's not what he's really known for in the grand scheme, but that's a very important one. And now a miscue here. Cruz Azul allowed to get in behind here. Bogusz for Sepulveda. Oh! Blazes it over. Well, Seattle with a gigantic miscue here. But Cruz Azul not able to make them pay. It's a lovely little move by Bogusz. And Sepulveda, yes, the angle against him, but he should have hit the target. And he blazes it high and wide. And frankly, lets Seattle off the hook. Could have easily have been 2-0. You feel now that Seattle really need to find their footing again here, or could all get away from them. Again, Roldan pressured, barely gets it away, really having trouble in the middle of the park at the moment. But here's Paul Arriola to lead the Sounders forward. Ferreira on the far side. His cross is blocked out for a Seattle corner. Oh, the Sounders needed that spark very, very badly. Up the other end here, ooh, Cruz Azul saying that Roldan went through Jorge Sanchez. That replay would lead you to believe that he did, but he did so after passing the ball, and I think that's why no foul was called. Oh, and there's a yellow card. That's Carlos Rotondi for protesting. Maybe some dissent in there. Referee booked him for a few foul words, I should say. Rusnak to take the corner for the Sounders. A couple things need to be handled inside the penalty area first. Referee does not want anything to get out of hand. Well, Seattle in dire need of a response here. More pushing and shoving. Again, the referee gets in the middle of it. Dida, Cruz Azul involved. I think also Nuhu might have had a couple pushes for the Sounders in there. Ooh, the referee's been summoned to take a look at something on VAR. Oh, is he being summoned to look at the Roldan challenge? I'd be very surprised. Roldan was passing the ball away. There's not much he really could have done. Oh my goodness, it's exactly what the VAR is suggesting that he looks at. Well, what is Roldan expected to do here? He crosses the ball, Sanchez just gets in the way. Well, this would be very, very harsh if Roldan were to be sent off here. He does make contact, but again, what is Christian Roldan expected to do there? He's passing the ball away. It's not like he's making a challenge. They're showing the referee all the different angles here. Well, the tough part from a Seattle point of view here is when the referee is summoned, that tends to mean a decision could be overturned. We'll wait and see. O'Shane Nation, the Jamaican referee, is having a long look at it. I Again, I will say, it would be very, very harsh. Again, they're checking here, you'd think, for a possible red card. Actually, from that angle, I'm not even sure the studs have rolled on touch Sanchez. Might be the side of the boot. The tough part here is the more you look at it, the more you feel that it might not be enough to overturn the on-field decision, which was play on. So the longer this goes on, the more you feel that this might not get overturned, but it's up to the referee in the end, off the recommendation from the VAR. And it appears that O'Shea Nation has come to a decision here. He says nothing doing, and I honestly think that's the right decision. That would have been very, very harsh. Cruz Azul, again, saw the contact and immediately thought it should be a red. Fair play to O'Shea Nation. He got the recommendation, but he had a hard look at it himself and deemed it was not enough for a red card. I think he's got it exactly right. Because at that point, what's Roldan expected to do? He's passing the ball away, wasn't lunging in to make a challenge. Ends up being very good refereeing here. And then from the corner, it was touched down. Handball appeals faintly came in. Headed back centrally looking for Ferreira. Roldan touches it down for Reagan. Christian Roldan trying to maneuver his way through. He's dispossessed. Referee tells him to get up. But then it's a giveaway. Rusnak steps back in for Seattle. Plays in Jordan Morris. Morris on the back heel, and then Vargas follows up. Lira does really well for Cruz Azul, although he does give the ball back. Vargas, early ball in, headed away by POV. And Christian Roldan recycles to his brother Alex. Roldan again, out wide. Vargas stayed out there as an outlet. Final 3 minutes plus stoppage time at the end of the half. Albert Rusnak somehow keeps the ball in play, but then he's caught up too. Again, Cruz Azul now able to maneuver thanks to Rivero, and they do about get it clear. Rivero could not touch it past Gomez. And now it's played through for Jordan Morris, but he could not get a touch on it, and it slides through to Mier, who gobbles it up. Maybe Seattle's best chance of the night, but Morris, after a lovely ball from Christian Roldan, could not catch up to it. Dida. Lovely switch of play onto the far side. Rotondi sitting on a yellow. Plays it back for Faravelli. Cruz Azul lead thanks to Carlos Rodriguez. The only goal of the tie so far over the first leg and almost a half here in the second leg. POV. Tried to slip it through for Bogusz, who anticipated the run for Sepulveda, but it never arrived. Well, to be a fly on the wall at halftime, curious what Brian Schmetzer is going to give to his players as a message for the second half. They still have some minutes to negotiate here at the end of the first half. Lira pings one out to the far side. Chance to cut in field here. Good clip ball in. It falls for a chance for Cruz Azul. Lovely cutback. is blocked out for a corner. Hands on heads amongst the Cruz Azul players. A handshake between Rivero and Roldan, who presumably got the block. 3 added minutes at the end of the half with a Cruz Azul corner forthcoming. And check that, 4 added minutes as a matter of fact. There's still plenty of time left in the half. The goal scorer Rodriguez to take. Oh, it was touched down in the center of the penalty area by Sepulveda. Back out for another corner. Another look, Rivero does so well here. It's actually Arriola who gets the block. In a sea of green defenders. Faravelli for Lira. Tundi has to settle it down. Willard Dida. Final 3 minutes of the half. Lovely ball in behind here for Rodriguez. And Rodriguez's ball in. Needed some defensive work on the end of that. Alex Roldan's header. Sanchez back across, looking for Bogusz. Critical defensive intervention again. Rotundi. POV. Who was it last off of? It's a goal kick. POV and Gomez have a laugh over that coming together. Gonzalo POV is known to make his presence felt in the final third, no questions about that. Just could not redirect that cross into the middle. Tight angle for him, of course, on the byline. Fry sends it forward. Flicked on for Arriola. Jordan Morris thought he was fouled in the middle of all that. And Arriola might be hurt here as he was nudged off the ball by Sanchez, pointing at his knee. Arriola's had a tough time with injuries in his career. You never want to see him go down. He's also had a wonderful start to life. The Sounders uniform, oh, you could see his reaction as he planted his right leg. He was holding his left leg, to be fair. Either way, it's a very, very tough scene here. Arriola needs some serious attention, it looks like. Cruz Azul players are going over to check on him. Well, hands on heads amongst some of the Sounders players. Jordan Morris concerned. Oh, the last thing that Seattle needed before the end of the half. There is a lot of youth mixed with some experience, I should say, on the Seattle bench. Wait and see what Brian Schmetzer decides to do. I think he'll try to mull it over at the halftime break if he can. Let Seattle play with 10 for as long as they're able. Ooh, and a yellow card's going to come out here. Sante Sanchez not happy. Oh, it's the goal scorer, Rodriguez, getting booked. 2 players now for Cruz Azul sitting on yellow cards. Tundi for protesting a decision. And Rodriguez either for getting involved in delaying the restart or possibly something else. 2 very needless moments. But otherwise, it's been a very good half for the hosts here. The throw-in will be the last act of the half. We will monitor Paul Arriola's status going into the half as well. Big decision for Brian Schmetzer to have to make before we play the pivotal second half of the second leg. But it's Carlos Rodriguez's goal that at the moment would send Cruz Azul back to the Champions Cup quarterfinals. Sounders will still have a say with a big 45 minutes to play here in Mexico City. Stats and highlights to come at the half. It is Cruz Azul 1, Seattle Sounders 0 on the night, and more importantly, on aggregate. Welcome back, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, our entire crew here with you. Concacaf Champions Cup round of 16, second leg. Cruz Azul leading 1-0 on the night and 1-0 on aggregate as well. As Seattle has made a change here, that is going to be the end of the night for Paul Arriola. Hopefully that is not a long-term situation for him. That's going to concern a lot of Sounders fans moving forward. On comes Paul Rothrock, who's come through the ranks. The likes of Tacoma Defiance and the old USL championship days, but of course in MLS Next Pro as well. And is now playing consistently in the Sounders squad. He comes on in the second half, trying to help the Sounders cause. The goal from Carlos Rodriguez has Cruz Azul on track to qualify for a Champions Cup quarterfinal against either Chivas Guadalajara or Club America. However, Seattle just needs one goal in order to get it back in their favor. If they can score a goal without reply in this second half, Seattle can still advance on the away goals rule. So still a lot to play for in these 45 minutes. No questions about that. Still one goal in it here in Mexico City. Just the one change for Seattle, no changes for Cruz Azul at the start of the second half. There was a change in the scoreline right before halftime in the Columbus-LAFC match. Columbus Crew scored a penalty in the dying embers of the first half. The Crew lead 2-0 on the night, and it's 3-2 LAFC on aggregates. Another big second half to come in Columbus, Ohio. Meanwhile, Cruz Azul moving forward quickly, but that pass in behind, looking for Bogusz from Dida, fizzles out. Couple of yellow cards for Vicente Sanchez's group, Carlos Rotondi, and the goal scorer Rodriguez for time wasting. Both in the book. That's really the only thing Cruz Azul did wrong in the first half. They were really, really impressive. Can they build on their one-goal advantage? Switch of play to the aforementioned Carlos Rotondi. POV. Rotondi again, looking for blue shirts to aim at in the penalty area, blocked by Vargas, and then blocked by Ferreira. We'll stay with Cruz Azul on this near side. Last time Seattle were here, they actually trailed 2-0. 2022 final, they came back to get the draw and win the whole thing in the second leg. So they've been here before, Ryan Schmetzer's group. Can they do it again? That's the question. Well, they do have a corner to defend here. Rodriguez taking his time to go over and take it. I do wonder if that will force O'Shane Nation to have a word with him. He's really tried, the referee, to crack down on any time wasting. Stephen Fry, the Seattle goalkeeper, was talked to in the first half as well. Rodriguez from the corner, headed away by Ferreira. Nudged down by Jorge Sanchez. Dida. Travella cross, it's going to come up short. And then miscontrolled by Morris, allowing Cruz Azul to try again. And then Dida with a miscued pass in behind. Sent forward by Fry. Vargas, not the best of touches there, and then it's given away by Reagan. And then Vargas trying to make up for it. Ends up committing a foul. Good chop there by Ignacio Rivero, the captain, who's come close a couple of times to scoring. He was clearly upended. Cruz Azul will get a set piece here, and it's in prime real estate as well. And Obed Vargas, who actually started that whole sequence off with a giveaway, ends up committing a yellow card challenge there. Into the book he goes. First Seattle booking of the night. And Stephen Fry has to get the Sounders back line in order here. Three men over it. Rivero certainly a candidate. Piovi certainly wants at least a chance to debate for his chance to take it. It's Rivero. Well out of play. More Cruz Azul pressure. Ferreira was clever, trying to keep it in play with his chest. Used as much real estate as he was allowed. Just in front of the Cruz Azul technical area, and he ends up seeing it dash past him. Well, that famous night when Seattle were 2-0 down here against Pumas, they came back. Nicolas Ladero with 2 goals in the second half, 77th minute and the 99th minute as well. Both were actually penalty conversions that night. Got Seattle back on terms, and then they never looked back. We mentioned it earlier, 3-0. They won the second leg in Seattle. Won the club's only Champions Cup win to date, and the last time an MLS side won the Champions Cup. And we're going to keep an eye on Columbus. Of course, they made a really good run to the final last time around the Crew, and they might be up to their old tricks again. As the flag stays down here, Cruz Azul should be in, but the chance is spurned over the top, and the offside flag eventually does go up. And again, Ignacio Rivero thwarted. Another look. Oh, he's well offside, Rivero here. The assistant kept his flag down just in case. More and more assistants are being told to do that these days. And Rivero's miss is a bit of a footnote. He was offside. Now Alex Roldan tries to fit it in behind for Jordan Morris. It's a Sounders throw. They need more of these kind of moments. Brian Schmetzer's boys up the other end. Can you go back to what Brian Schmetzer said in the lead up to the game? He wanted his team to be aggressive. They couldn't sit back. Well, they have not had the opportunity to really do that tonight. Give Cruz Azul credit. And Seattle have conceded once, and they have to find one back if they're going to survive on to the next round. As it stands, Cruz Azul would be on to the quarterfinals. And Bogusz penalized there, brought down Gomez. Look, oh, actually, Bogusz grabbed on the shorts of Gomez. If he hadn't have done that, may have actually been in behind. Or Cruz Azul there. Reagan. Knew who? Near side, Obed Vargas. Christian Roldan up ahead. Rusnak. And then Rothrock dribbled into a circle and gives it away. That's going to be a huge loss for Seattle, losing Paul Arriola. For those just joining us, injured right at the end of the first half. Looked like it was his left knee that he was holding on to. Lots of concern on the Seattle players and staff. They know that Paul Arriola's had a checkered history with injuries. They're hoping and praying right now that it's not too serious, as Rothrock left an arm in there on Dida. Actually, it was almost more of an elbow. Cruz Azul with a free kick, 10 minutes into the start of the second half. Still just one goal in the tie. If Seattle can get the equalizer, they would be in line to go through. But if it stays like this, Cruz Azul would knock the Sounders out. Goal from Carlos Rodriguez is the difference. Here is Rodriguez. POV. Rotondi. Rodriguez. Cruz Azul forced to go all the way to the back. Here comes Carlos Rodriguez. Space to run into. Held off by Gomez. And then hit by Rivero. Blocked away by Nuhu. It's a throw-in on the other side of midfield. POV. This is Bogusz. Poking it through. In the end, Reagan well positioned. Just over a dozen games, Vicente Sanchez has been in charge. Still some room to work with, I would say, in Liga MX play. The club's still ahead of them. The Apertura. They'd love to pair Liga MX play with a Champions Cup run. And meanwhile, Paul Rothrock gets free for the Sounders here. Big chance here for Seattle, it's Ferreira! And Jesus Ferreira skies it. Best chance Seattle has had by a mile here in the second half. Well, give credit, Paul Rothrock just rides the challenge, great ball in. And Ferreira, well, had acres of space here to get onto it and completely blazes it over. And it's a giveaway here. Nuhu. Can Seattle move it forward? It's, in the end, won back by Cruz Azul. Ooh, and then a challenge comes in here. Vargas, who's already been booked. Cruz Azul asking the questions of our Jamaican referee here. Another look at the challenge there on Rodriguez, and there was follow through on the back end there. Vargas maybe a bit lucky to get away with that. And I think he's going to get one final warning. That's it. One more of those, and I don't think the referee will be as kind. To be fair, Vargas did not need to make that challenge. Could have put Seattle in dire straits there if he had picked up a second yellow. Seattle's already having enough trouble as it is, breaking down Cruz Azul with 11. Last thing they need is to go down to 10. Rothrock has been better over the last couple of minutes. Can't find Morris there. And Aaron Company will reset for the host as we tick down on the hour mark here in Mexico City. Of course, we can give you an update on the other game going on right now. Crew and LAFC. It is still 2-0 Columbus on the night, 3-2 LAFC on aggregate. They're about 25 minutes remaining in that game in Columbus. Crew need one more to send that game to extra time. And of course, one for LAFC could still put it to bed. Situation here is pretty simple. If Cruz Azul hold on, they go through. If Seattle can equalize, they'll have a very good chance of flipping the script. The best of headers away by Reagan. Right back to Cruz Azul it goes. Jesus Ferreira chance just a moment ago. Probably along with that Roldan connection to Morris, those have been the two best Seattle chances tonight. But no end product for the Sounders. Could have a chance to be a pretty feast or famine week for Seattle. No goals against Cruz Azul in the first leg, 5 against LAFC in the league, and then nothing again against Cruz Azul with half an hour to go. Christian Roldan steps in. Nuhu spinning around looking for space and does have Reagan on his 6 for support. Stephen Fry, be careful there, keeps it in play. Will clear Seattle's lines. Oh, but Piovi's header sneaks back through here. Sepulveda made the challenge, and then the offside flag does go up. It's, again, Yaimar Gomez, he actually gets it spot on the challenge. Good battle between those two, but Sepulveda was in an offside position. Vargas loses out to Piovi. Lovely challenge. And then Faravelli couldn't get it to Bogusz. It's a good turn and burst into space here by Christian Roldan. Rothrock out wide. Early ball in behind was a searching one, but Morris and Ferreira were a couple of steps late. Once again, Ariola's a big loss, make no mistake about that, and we don't know the extent of the injury, of course. That'll really keep Seattle Sounders fans up at night, but it's been a good 5-10 minutes here from Paul Rothrock off the bench, trying to give Seattle a second half spark and get their Champions Cup hopes back on track here in Mexico City. It does look like Brian Schmetzer is getting another change ready. We'll await full confirmation on that, but it appears as if Danny Leyva is getting set to come on, another one of the former Tacoma Defiance players. And we'll see who Leyva will come on for in a moment. That's one of the really impressive things about Seattle. And they're not the only MLS franchise that can boast this, make no mistake about that, but so many of their players who make a big impact in the squad week in and week out are homegrown players. They're from the Pacific Northwest, they're from Tukwila, Washington, or they're from the Seattle area. Jordan Morris is the poster boy for that, no questions about that, but there's so many players that have come up through this system. And Danny Leyva certainly has been one of those. He's been out on loan once or twice in his career, and he's actually going to replace Jesus Ferreira here. That'll turn some heads, no question about that. But Ferreira is done. Leyva is expected to come on and hopefully, for Seattle's sake, make the difference. Another homegrown player, as we mentioned earlier, 21 years of age. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada. Danny Leyva, but again, had a lot of time in the youth system with Tacoma in particular. Oh, and now, as the ball's going to roll out of play here, there could be a problem with Jordan Morris. He's also had his fair share of injury concerns in his career. Oh, and you start to wonder if he might have to bow out here. Gave a shake of the head in a positive way to the medical staff, but that might just be him answering a question. Well, we'll come back to that. Cruz Azul will make a change here. Luca Romero is going to come on, and Lorenzo Faravelli is going to make way with 25 minutes to go in the second leg. First change of the night for the hosts. Not a good sign right there, looking at Jordan Morris. Don't want to speculate, but he could not get to the ball. And he immediately felt something. And again, not the first time tonight, hands on heads amongst the Seattle players and staff here, and that's going to be it. Jordan Morris is out. For how long? You'll have to wait and see on that. Arriola and Morris leaving with injuries here. And it's Daniel Musovski who will take his place. Well, that's some big worries, not just on the night for Seattle, but moving forward in their MLS campaign. Musovski's another Nevada native from Henderson, 29 years of age. He played once in the league this season, has scored once before for Seattle. That was last season. Former LAFC and Real Salt Lake player. Here comes Cruz Azul. Meanwhile, they've overloaded this far side, and off the ricochet, it's played across, and it's just out of the reach of Rivero. Now we talk about subs making an instant impact. How about Luca Romero, right in the thick of it? Great ball across, and the captain Rivero just a bit tardy in getting there. Could have easily been a tap-in, but not to be. And the door for Seattle still, despite some of these injuries, slightly ajar. His side are in good shape, but they're not out of the woods yet. A couple of missed chances here that really would have put Seattle towards the exits. The tough part as well, Seattle has lost two of their best attacking threats, Arriola and Morris, to injury, and they substituted Jesus Ferreira off. So they're gonna need an unlikely source, the Sounders, if they're gonna pull this off. Leyva. They won the challenge, but then gave the ball away. Maier's ball out wide wasn't the best, and it goes back to Seattle on the far side. And we'll still have one more big game to come later on tonight. Tigres hosting FC Cincinnati. 1-1 on aggregate there. Tigres have the away goal tiebreaker in their favor at the moment. Vargas, meanwhile, and didn't get a chance to do too much with it. Musovski and company putting some pressure on, but Piovi assesses the scene on the near side. Rotondi, and Piovi gives the ball away. Alex Roldan, dispossessed by Rotondi on the near side. Time and space here. Bogusz up ahead for Romero. Cruz Azul have the numbers here if they hurry. Luca Romero sliding it through. Challenge comes in. And it looks like the referee has pointed for a penalty here on the the challenge by Paul Rothrock. Rothrock points to his shoulder as he pleads with the referee, but the penalty's been given. It will be checked. It's Sepulveda who's, oh, beg your pardon, it's actually Eric Lira who's bundled over here by Rothrock. Oh, was there enough contact there? Well, VAR certainly will check it. But based on the current words being exchanged, it looks like this is going to be given. It did look like Eric Lira made the most of the contact, but there was contact and there was a little bit of an extension from Paul Rothrock, and I think that's why the penalty was given by the referee. And Angel Sepulveda is going to step up here for Cruz Azul, a chance to put Seattle away. Big moment here. Sepulveda against Fry. And Sepulveda scores! He's the coolest man in Mexico City tonight. Angel Sepulveda makes no mistake from the penalty spot. And Cruz Azul have 1 foot in the Champions Cup quarterfinals. Sepulveda just keeps making moments happen in the Concacaf Champions Cup. 2-0 Cruz Azul on the night, 2-0 on aggregate. And Seattle need 2, or they're out. A hop, skip, and a jump on the Sepulveda penalty. Fry tried to hold his ground, but reacted too late. And Cruz Azul have 20 minutes to finish the job. There's certain players that are just nerveless when they get to the penalty spot, and Angel Sepulveda had bucket loads of confidence before dispatching that penalty. He's done it again in the Champions Cup. Rothrock there runs out of real estate for Seattle, just knocks it out for a throw-in. And the Sounders now severely lacking as far as time here. All their big hitters in the attack are not on the pitch. Well, I'll say it one more time. This is the exact position that Seattle was in when they came back the last time they were here. They scored in the 77th minute and the 99th minute, both from penalties. They're going to have to recreate that same feat if they're going to survive tonight. Cruz Azul in complete control for now. Alex Roldan's cross into the middle, and there was a follow-through from POV. It's going to be a Sounders free kick on the near side. Some of these Sounders players were on that team when they came back here against Pumas 3 years ago. That's really what they have to hold on to right now. Memories of a miraculous comeback from 3 seasons ago. Other than that, Seattle has not offered much in the final third tonight. A Ferreira miss and a ball from Christian Roldan. As you look at the challenge on Alex Roldan, to Jordan Morris, who was not able to get enough on it to continue the run. So on the first half, the Morris attempt at least. Albert Rusnak, can he pick somebody out here for the Sounders? Desperate need of a lifeline. Rusnak's ball into the back stick. Rothrock's header back across. It's up for grabs, and it's in. Well, well. The substitute, Daniel Musovski, gives Seattle a lifeline with 16 minutes to go. The Sounders need one more if they are to pull this off. And are the Sounders up to their old tricks again here in Mexico City? It was a brilliant header back across. Rusnak with the ball in. Rothrock helping make amends for the penalty earlier. Goalkeeper completely misses it. And Musovski, Danny on the spot for the Sounders to give them hope. 16 minutes for Seattle to score one more goal. Rivero taken off meanwhile for Cruz Azul. Alexis Gutierrez will take his place. Well, we said Seattle was going to need an unlikely source here. Musovski has them halfway back. And they have 15 minutes to save themselves here, the Sounders. That was really, by far, Seattle's best chance, and they are able to take advantage of it. But can Cruz Azul find it at the other end with Bogusz? Not this time. Furious with himself as he blazes it over the bar. Remember, it was right around the 77th minute that Seattle got the goal back last time. And it's an early ball in here for Paul Rothrock. And it's very nicely dealt with. Eric Lira gets Cruz Azul back on it here after the Sounders have given themselves a real chance at it. Remember, one more goal and Seattle would potentially advance on the away goals rule here in Mexico City tonight. But there's still 14 minutes left, and Cruz Azul come forward with Romero, but there's not going to be enough room for him to operate. Reagan shepherds it out for a goal kick. Near side, Alex Roldan. Touched ahead by Christian Roldan, but Cruz Azul quickly back onto it. Well, Seattle have been able to get it back to where we've been most of the night. Seattle needing a goal. Rothrock steps in. 13 minutes left. Bit of a dangerous pass back. Kevin Mier has to be a bit careful here. POV. Near side, Rotondi back to him. Still 2-0 Columbus in the other game going on at the moment against LAFC. That ball is slid through. Chance to seal it here. Bogusz! Fry with the save. Second chance is blazed over by Carlos Rodriguez. Two chances for Cruz Azul to seal it again. That was the second chance. Rodriguez, who had scored earlier, nearly scored again, just over the top of the crossbar, after a huge save by Stefan Fry to deny Bogusz. And meanwhile, Seattle go back to the bench here. Hutolo is coming off. Kalani Kosa Rienzi, who scored against LAFC last time out, comes in. Looks like Georgie Manungu is also going to come on. So Nuhu out for Manungu. And again, Kosa Rienzi comes on. That's it for Alex Roldan. And that's it for the Seattle substitutes. Brian Schmetzer has used all of them up. Well, Kosa Rienzi's in good form. He comes in to try to make an impact. And Georgie Manungu, bit of an X factor. Another Tacoma Defiance youngster, getting his first season with the first team in a full capacity. And he glides through here, tries to pick out Kosa Rienzi. And the air is there for Cruz Azul after a really good start for Manungu. Well, for those that have not seen Georgie Manungu in action as Nuhu is done for the night for the Sounders. He can be a handful out on the wing. And Brian Schmetzer's hoping he can cause some late chaos here in the Champions Cup. Was their hold up there? Cruz Azul fans were looking for a foul. And then Bogusz follows through on Gomez. And Mateusz Bogusz picks up a yellow card. Maybe frustrated that Cruz Azul didn't get the initial challenge there. Ends up picking up a late yellow card with 10 minutes remaining, and he clearly bundles into Gomez. Another one where he really, Bogusz, didn't need to make the challenge. Manungu is fouled by Rotundi, who also is sitting on a yellow card. Has to be careful. Manungu's got a bag of tricks. Very, very tough player to stop 1v1. And he just showed why right there. A little glimpse of what he's capable of. Now Rusnak to take again. We've been here before tonight. This one's from a little bit further out. Rusnak's ball in, goalkeeper won't get to it. Rothrock back across. Touched out for a corner for Seattle. I think Jorge Sanchez got the last touch on it. Let's look again. And it was just off of his chest. Out for a Seattle set piece. Ooh, or was it? Offside flag went up before all of that happened. A late flag, I must say. So Seattle does not get a corner. That's a bit of a break for Cruz Azul. Here comes Manungu, dashing his way down the near side, and ends up slipping at the vital moment. Sepulveda, still the match winner, trying to bring Cruz Azul up the other end. Played out wide by the substitute Gutierrez. POV. Oh, pressure from Rothrock. Flipped up ahead for Bogusz. May have been in an offside position there. It's a moot point. Stefan Fry gets it back into play. And Seattle not able to keep possession there. Sanchez. Wasowski's pressure forces it back to the goalkeeper. Again, Seattle at the moment would go out of the Champions Cup. The Sounders have to score one more to advance. If not, Cruz Azul would go back to the quarterfinals again. It's a good run here. Cruz Azul have some numbers. Sepulveda tried to play it back centrally, but again, Manungu is there. It was covered initially. Rodriguez. Gutierrez. Sepulveda ignores the overlap, tries to cross it into the middle. It's laid off here. Bogusz, little give and go with Sanchez. Sanchez plays it across. Reagan with the intervention. Out for a throw-in. 7 minutes of the 90 left. Cruz Azul supporters trying to get their beloved boys in blue over the line here. Seattle gets the throw-in on the far side. Looks like it's still 3-2 LAFC on aggregate, as Cruz Azul try to provide the light needed to get Cruz Azul over the line. Cosa Rienzi dispossessed. Sepulveda. Rotundi across! There it is! It's forced over the line by Luca Romero to make absolutely sure that it's going to be Cruz Azul's night in the Champions Cup. Surely that sees off Seattle. 3-1. Now, there were some appeals by Seattle for offsides here in the build-up. Brian Schmetzer was shaking his head. Didn't look like there were. And it looks like it's the super sub, Luca Romero, riding into Cruz Azul's rescue in the dying embers here. Seattle need 2 again. And surely, this time, Cruz Azul will punch their ticket to the Concacaf Champions Cup quarters. Looks like some changes here. Bogusz is going to make way for Gabriel Fernandez. That leaves Cruz Azul with 2 changes left, and Seattle has 5 minutes to score twice again. Rothrock runs out of room. Gutierrez, dispossessed. Oh, and then Seattle had an advantage to play there. Referee gives them the free kick. Oh, and actually bails Cruz Azul out in doing so. Leiva was fouled, but the Sounders could have easily kept the play alive here. Musovski, the goal scorer, actually had time and space to run into. The referee didn't see it that way. Seattle take the free kick. Rothrock. Early cross into the middle, and Rotondi was a bit dangerous to leave that there, but he's fortunate that it bounces out before Manungu could get on the end of it. Well, every time tonight Cruz Azul have needed a moment, someone has been able to provide it for them. Rodriguez, Sepulveda, and what a job Luca Romero has done off the bench. Provided the spark, and then helps to provide the finish, and potentially finish off the Sounders in the Champions Cup. Three minutes of the 90 left. And Seattle in need of a minor miracle now. Oh, lovely feed there for Gutierrez. They can really wrap it up with one more here. And they're going to play their way through. It's Sanchez! Game over! Game, set, and match. Cruz Azul. Jorge Sanchez sends them through to the quarterfinals. No questions asked. Well, Seattle have done some brave defending tonight, but they were cut to ribbons here in the final third by Cruz Azul. And it's one of the main men from Mexico's national team, Jorge Sanchez, who puts the cherry on top. 4-1 on the night. Cruz Azul through to the Champions Cup quarterfinals. You felt that Cruz Azul, especially after the Musovski goal, we're going to have to put Seattle away. It looks like they have put Seattle away here in the dying embers. And again, Cruz Azul going to get either Chivas or Club America in the next round. And Seattle push forward again. They're going to keep fighting to the last whistle. It's in the Sounders' DNA. Cosa Rienzi as we enter the 90th minute. 4 different Cruz Azul goal scorers, by the way. It's been a full team display tonight. Manungu passed one challenge, picked up on the second. Well, then Reagan needed to make that challenge. Cruz Azul could have been in behind again. They still might be. Jorge Sanchez stopped by Paul Rothrock. Rodriguez. Near side Rotondi. Clipping it into the middle. And there may have been a foul in there. Yes, there was a foul. Referee spots it. Free kick for Seattle as we enter second half stoppage time. Because of the goals from Romero and Sanchez, it's academic. There is no stoppage time. It's full time here in Mexico City. Cruz Azul stormed their way past the Sounders and into the Champions Cup quarterfinals. 4 different goal scorers along the way. Rodriguez in the first half, Sepulveda, Romero, and Sanchez polishing it off in the second half. Daniel Masovsky gave the Sounders real hope with about 15 minutes to go, but Cruz Azul put Seattle away with a couple of late goals, and they win it on the night and on aggregate by 4 goals to 1, and they'll await either Chivas Guadalajara or Club America in an all-Liga MX quarterfinal in the Champions Cup in the early days of April. Tough night to take for Brian Schmetzer's side. They were valiant in their efforts again, but there was no comeback in Mexico City this time for the Sounders. We'll get to some interviews in a moment, and then we'll return with highlights and stats after that. As it finishes in the round of 16 second leg here in Mexico City, Cruz Azul 4, Seattle Sounders 1 on the night and on aggregate. Cruz Azul march on to the quarterfinals.
Coach, was a difficult game. Please give us your appreciation of this match.
Well, credit Vicente and Cruz Azul. They were better than we were today. We had some chances at home where we could have made it a little bit more difficult, but congratulations to them. They were better.
How not scoring at home affect the team today?
Well, it was big because they could dictate things. We had a couple chances in the first half, but not really a clear chance. So we were trying to play in transition, but, you know, they scored their first goal, and that was an important goal. Thank you.
Carlos, felicidades por este buen año y bueno, también por haber sido elegido el jugador del partido. ¿Cuán importante fue hacer sentir la casa el día de hoy para Cruz Azul?
Bueno, era importante, sabíamos que teníamos que ganar sí o sí, así que bueno, creo que lo fuimos a buscar desde el primer tiempo y al segundo tiempo concretamos las que tuvimos y bueno, gracias a Dios pudimos avanzar.
¿Cómo ayuda este marcador tan abultado para Cruz Azul para lo que sigue en este torneo?
Bueno, si mal no recuerdo, creo que los goles importan mucho para cerrar de local, así que era importante hacer los goles que se pudieran hacer, así que contento por eso. Gracias.
Sean St. Jacques back here with you. Full-time match stats from this round of 16, second leg, and every single stat pretty much in favor of Cruz Azul tonight. You heard Brian Schmetzer said it. They were the better team from start to finish. Sounders gave them a late run at it, that 5 to 10 minute stretch after the Sounders scored that goal from Musovski, gave the Sounders their best bit of belief tonight. But really, Cruz Azul, from start to finish, were better, and they had the goals to back that up as we take a look at the full-time match highlights here. Remember, it was 0-0 coming into this second leg after Seattle and Cruz Azul both failed to score in the Seattle first leg of this round of 16 second leg, or I should say round of 16 tie in the Concacaf Champions Cup. And in the second leg, it didn't take Cruz Azul long. About 10 minutes in, they started creating chances just past the half-an-hour mark. Carlos Rodriguez opened the scoring. It was a big goal in the game, and it being a very pivotal goal in the tie. It gave Cruz Azul a very dominant first half performance behind them, and then they'd add another here in the second half. Penalty given away by Paul Rothrock. Up stepped Angel Sepulveda, who made no mistake, coolest man in the place, and gave Cruz Azul a 2-0 lead with about 16 minutes to go in the second half. But then Seattle, glimpses of 2022, they would get one back. Daniel Musovski, the substitute, made it 2-1 about a minute or two after they fell 2-0 down. Great header by Rothrock. Into the mix it went. Musovski made it 2-1, and Seattle only needed one more goal to potentially steal the advancement. However, off the giveaway here, great ball fed across. Luca Romero with the finishing touch, the substitute, scoring for Cruz Azul. That made it 3-1 on the night and essentially finished the job for Cruz Azul on aggregate as well. Vicente Sanchez, smartest man in the place, brings him on. Romero makes the difference. And then the cherry on top, Jorge Sanchez burying the chance here in the dying embers of normal time. That would finish the job. 4-1 on the night, 4-1 on aggregate. And in the end, Cruz Azul did have a few ebbs and flows to this game, but they cruise on through, dare I say, to the Concacaf Champions Cup quarterfinals. 4 different goal scorers along the way, and Cruz Azul knock the Seattle Sounders out in this round of 16 second leg. Really fun night here in Mexico City. The Sounders had a few glimpses of that 2022 championship run, but Cruz Azul were too much, and they go through to the quarterfinals. 4-1 on aggregate is the final score. For our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. We say so long from Mexico City. Cruz Azul march on to the Champions Cup quarterfinals.
¿Dónde la hace?